much, Lack. Wow, that was amazing. Hi, you guys. I'm so thrilled to be here. I have spent many a magical summer at the O'Neill, and I'm just so thrilled to be here with you all to celebrate and to welcome our fantastic, one-of-a-kind, incredible honoree. I don't want to wait any longer. Get your butt up here. Lin-Manuel Miranda, ladies and gentlemen. Is that the music you always bring with you?
Yes.
It's just so great.
I always bring Alex with me everywhere I go.
I would do the same if I could.
I really like the trumpet part on the I'm Out. Sorry, I've never heard that with a full band.
It's so freaking cool. Okay, Lynn, we get to have a conversation. Isn't this amazing?
Yes.
Okay, let's start with that video we saw of you, your 25-year-old self, heading up.
Filmed on my Kodak Easy Share camera.
Is that true?
That was before cameras were in phones, y'all. Or before cameras in phones were any good.
Yeah, I mean, good quality, I'd say.
Yeah.
Anyway, like, you see you and all of your friends, like, heading up to the O'Neill. What would you tell that 25-year-old Lynn now, if you could?
Oof.
I know, tough.
That's a tough question. I thought we'd solve the show and be on Broadway that fall. I think that's always sort of the wildly optimistic thing of like, well, we've got 2 weeks and nothing but time, so I guess we'll fix the show and they'll offer us a Broadway contract instantly.
Right.
That is not what happened at the O'Neill.
Yeah.
But we did have time to investigate, and we had time in a barn with just these incredible actors who agreed to come to theater camp with us, and this incredible creative team, and it was amazing. It was probably the most I've gone without sleep in my life.
Really?
Yeah, because you want to do everything. You never have.
And you have like a time limit, so you're like, we're going to get everything accomplished. Right.
Right, and it was like 2 weeks without, I was basically a professional substitute teacher at that point in my life. So it was like 2 weeks of nothing but time to work on art. Sure. So you want to get everything done.
100%.
So I was basically awake for 2 weeks.
Wow, it didn't seem that way. You guys got quite a bit done. I'm very impressed. Now, like, what did you take away from your time, like, at the O'Neill itself?
Well, we killed Nina's brother.
Right. Saw that.
And you saw how hard it is to kill Nina's brother because he's got that great song. And you don't want to cut that song. But we also realized that, if we don't tell so many stories, we can really double down on the ones that are important to us. Right. And so as soon as we killed Lincoln and gave his problems to Nina, Nina went from the sister to like the most interesting and complex character in the show. So that was something we learned at the O'Neill. We wrote Blackout at the O'Neill. I mean, there's like lots of major songs sort of got written on sleepless nights. And then the other thing that is so incredible about the O'Neill is that we also fell in love with everyone around us. The interns who were bringing us coffee, but also mounting their own shows. You then go see their show, and it's incredible. It's incredible work, and so you're surrounded by people who are all doing the same thing you're doing, and it's really tremendous.
That's so amazing. So, okay, tell me, Lynn, you're like super fancy now, right? Like Mary Poppins, Disney, like Star Wars, movies, TV. Like, please promise me and tell me, is theater still the closest to your heart, or we'll all be really sad? Is it? Like,
guys, I'm done. Thank
you.
Good night.
I have to ask you because you're
announced
so busy
my retirement. No,
so
of
many
course.
things.
This is the thing that we love, and this is the thing that it's sort of like the ultimate decathlon marathon of your skills as an actor, as a writer. Like, if you can get your show up, if you can do a show 7 times a week, then you can kind of do everything else. It's like everything else is a little easy after having done, a year as Usnavi or a year as Hamilton.
Right.
Not
to mention the many years it
I
takes
just have to do the scene until you get it? Great.
Right.
This is awesome.
Right.
So it's, I don't think theater will ever, theater's always going to be front and center for me.
Okay, Phew. Everyone, you all heard it, so we'll hold them to it, right? Great. So, okay, thank you. I want to thank you so much for, like, keeping the spotlight on Puerto Rico and rebuilding there. Yes, I think we all do. Tell me what else we all can be doing in this room right now to help.
Well, we can keep Puerto Rico in the conversation, which is hard. because there's a scandal du jour, and it feels like it's every 3 hours there's a new scandal.
Right.
So the fact that fellow Americans have been going through the longest blackout in our nation's history is sort of frustrating, but it's keeping Puerto Rico in the conversation. Donating to organizations that matter to you. There's Chef Jose Andres, who's still feeding people in the hardest hit areas. There's a Hispanic Federation that we're doing work with, and we continue to do great work with. And then we're bringing Hamilton to Puerto Rico in January,
which is
and
so
I'm coming out of
freaking
retirement
amazing
for that. Which is, it's a naked play for tourism. For the island. It's also we're trying to raise enough money to restore arts funding in Puerto Rico. That's our biggest goal while we're there. And then selfishly, as a performer, I want to be there because I played Usnavi. We were the first equity tour in the Heights. Was the first equity tour ever to go to Puerto Rico, and I played Usnavi in that week. And it was such a life-changing experience for me that just selfishly, I want to be back on. Like, I couldn't abide Hamilton being in Puerto Rico and me not being on stage.
Right. How long is that stint in Puerto Rico?
3 weeks.
In January, right?
In January, yeah. January 8th through the end of the month.
So we can all, tweet and get
and if you can afford to be in this room, you can afford the tickets for Puerto Rico.
All right.
Hamilton, and it'll go to a really great cause.
That's amazing. Okay, so you are a multidisciplinary artist. You've starred in a bunch of the shows you've written. I know you're freaking out right now, right? That I'm interviewing? Yeah. Thank you. I feel like Oprah. I'm feeling really great. Do you approach writing for yourself differently than you approach writing for other people? Like when you're thinking, oh, I'm putting myself in this, musically or any other? Or is it the same?
No, I sort of see it as if I do my job well, I want to play that part once I finish writing that tune. Like we released the first draft of Burn today on iTunes. Yeah. And I was, people were like, whoa, Eliza is so intense. I was like, no, I was. That's how I felt when I was being Eliza. And I was writing that song. I think it's funny because I played one role, but I get to play all the roles when I'm writing it. I get to be Angelica. I get to be Eliza. I get to be Peggy. And the fun of that is I think the only way it manifests is I kind of write my shit last. Like Hamilton's stuff Hamilton's final monologue was written about 2 days before we started previews.
What?
Because I didn't want any of the actors to feel like they didn't have what they needed to do the thing. So I was like, I'll just write I'm sort of like a Puerto Rican mom who just cooks for everyone. No, I'll eat after.
Wait, do you always know who you're going to play when you start writing something?
No, throughout Hamilton, I kept going back, and every time I wrote a Burr tune, I'd be like, I want to play Burr. And every time I wrote a Hamilton tune, I'd be like, I want to play Hamilton. And then cut to being backstage at the Richard Rodgers and watching Leslie bring the house down in the room where it happens, and me being like, I want to play Burr.
But you still could technically, right? If you ever wanted to.
No,
you feel it's past.
No,
it's
I feel
past
like
you now?
Yeah, I think I could. I asked Tommy once seriously because Tommy was like, "You're not playing Burr. You can't do it." And I said, "Tommy, seriously, what do you think I could play?" And if Tommy were here tonight, he would be roasting the shit out of me.
I know he actually came to Carousel last week and was like, "I'm going to send you some roast things." And I was like, "I don't think it's a roast." He's like, "No, you're going to do it."
No, I know.
Yeah, he wanted to roast you.
That's his job in my life.
Yeah, 100%.
But he said he thinks I could play Jefferson one day.
Dude.
I could do Lafayette Jefferson. So I'm going to audition for Tommy Kail, and hopefully he'll give me the part.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, right?
That'd be awesome.
Okay, what are some of your obsessions?
Missy Elliott, Anthony Ramos,
yes,
Karen Olivo,
yes.
What
are things that you come across in your day that make you go down a rabbit hole, or you're like, oh, I have to what are the things that spark you to?
It's lots of things. I'm really a deadline writer, which is why the O'Neill was an ideal situation for me.
Uh-huh.
It's you have 2 weeks of nothing but time. What do you want to get done? That's heaven for me. But in terms of day-to-day obsessions, I mean, they can be as addictive as Twitter.
Okay.
They can be, I'm obsessed with picking the gunk out of my dog's eyes.
Me too, right here.
Whenever I see a dog that has the Trail of Tears thing happening, I go, these are not good parents.
I
These
agree
are not
with
good
you.
dog parents. And so, and I think as a result, I'm always on Toby's face.
That's good though, because you wait like a week and
you wait a week and it's like,
over. It's
look at how sad my dog is.
Yeah, they're devastated. Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
You're
Thank
a
you
good
for
dog
providing
dad.
me the forum to say that tonight.
Of course. That is a new fact. Congrats to you and Vanessa on the birth of your new baby.
He's all cheeks.
Okay, so what songs do you sing to your children?
Oh, well, you know.
Is there like a nighttime, a daytime? You know what I mean?
Okay, I'm going to tell you a really sweet story.
I'm excited.
We had a friend over for dinner. You know, I was not around nights for the whole first year Sebastian was around because I was, you know, he was born 2 weeks before rehearsal started for Hamilton off Broadway. So I didn't have nights. I didn't get to do tuck-ins the whole first year. And so it's a year and a half later, and I am playing my friend who was over for dinner, Dear Theodosia, Regina Spektor cover of Dear Theodosia from the mixtape, and I was playing it for him. It hadn't come out yet, and my son was playing in the corner, and he couldn't really even talk yet. And he got up, and he looked around, and he went to Vanessa and was like, Mommy, because she was singing Dear Theodosia every night, y'all. Aww. And so that was like his mommy too. So yeah, we do a lot of Dear Theodosia, and that would be enough. Those are like the two tunes.
That is so sweet.
Yeah, it's
oh
really
my God.
Sweet. We all cried.
Right. You all still cry every night. Oh, you do probably.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we have a ton of young artists in the room.
Hello.
Yes.
I saw you all. Hello.
So, like, what's the best piece of advice you got in your career that you can share with them?
It remains. It remains. It was the cast dinner in 8th grade. I had gotten into the sort of student-written plays, and the senior who directed my play, his name was Matt Korahias. He was class of '94, and I remember him looking at me at this Fuddruckers on 92nd and 3rd.
Love a Fuddruckers.
And saying, Lynn, there's so little time. Sink your teeth into this school, and don't let go. And that was like senior year advice, grizzled senior year advice to a young 8th grader. Wow. But I took him really seriously. I was like, I will. And so I started writing plays like very much in earnest because, you know, this guy I really revered who directed me in my first show was like, sink your teeth into this school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sink your teeth into this life, kids.
Yes.
Don't let go.
I think if anyone has, you have. That's for sure. Okay, so let's talk a little about philanthropy. You and your family chose to fund a scholarship for people of color to attend the O'Neill's National Theater Institute.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that. Why was that important to you? Why did you guys want to make that kind of one of your first major gifts?
It's important to me because I had such an amazing time at the O'Neill, and not just as a writer who got picked to work on his musical, but seeing the experience the interns had, seeing the experience all the students around us had, and watching as they went from amazing playwright to amazing playwright, soaking up the workshop process in real time. And I said, this is what we need. This is that notion of access and really being a part of art as it's being created. And so, you know, I think that's the golden ticket, is just access and opportunity. So that's what we're trying to fund. Yeah,
I think like we're really seeing so much more diversity on stage now. In a way, theater's kind of like leading the pack culturally. What can we do like to help in other areas of the arts, like non-performance areas? You know, producing, company managing, you know, advertising. Like,
yeah, I'm big. You know, I think the biggest and toughest challenge, and I lucked out really early because I found Tommy Kail, Alex Lacamoire, Chiara Hudes, Andy Blankenbuehler really early in my career, and to find like-minded people who want to make the same kind of thing you want to make is the hardest part. But then it's also about supporting each other, and it's about producing each other's work. You know, we were in the basement of the Drama Bookshop for a really long time until we got anyone of import to come to our readings. But that's what you have to do, is just keep showing up for each other and creating community.
Right, and find your crew.
Yeah,
right?
Find your crew.
Oh, awesome. Lynn, I think we're going to move forward with the evening now.
Thank goodness.
I grilled you. You're done.
Yeah, fantastic. Let's see more cool shit.
Preston, get up here.
Thanks, guys.